Da, my fellow Russians. Today we look at review. I am Makio. Alright, I'll stop that. Basically, anyone can confirm that the subways and metro systems are a drag to be in. There's always that creepy, probably a pedophile dude giving you the death stare, while the homeless man 3 seats away can't seem to eat his crackers in an orderly fashion. No soul is ignorant enough to be happy while underground. If life is this fucked here before the nuclear apocalypse, then it must be uber fucked after, right? Metro Last Light, the sequel to Metro 2033, captures this phenomena, except swapping amputee bums with monsters and Russians with every chump forced to use public transit. Riding Metro sucks, but just playing them also sucks. We're gonna find out here in this video review of Metro Last Light for the PS3, PC, and Xbox 360.
There you have it, bitch! Hey, you could have helped me.
If you didn't have a chance to touch Metro 2033, you're in for a little bit of a hazy start. Last Light picks up the torch right where 2033 dropped it, well, depending on your choices. Regardless, Last Light assumed you bombed the Dark Ones, the mysterious mutant beings that humanity misunderstood for evil. The laser-guided bomb somehow narrowly missed one small Dark One, sending Artyom, the returning protagonist, on a mission throughout most of Russia to find this evasive childlike being. On top of the rebirth of the Dark One threat, Vault D6, a vault supposedly capable of sustaining life for the entire Metro, is under dispute since it is the hot commodity. Every faction wants a piece of it, even though there is enough to go around. Last Light's narrative components are all over the place, quality-wise. For every minute you spend absorbing the depressing Metro lifestyle and praising the thick, grim atmosphere, you'll spend 2 minutes in utter confusion trying to piece together what the hell is actually happening. Unknown or unexplained characters pop in at such an alarming frequency, only adding layers of perplexity and forcing more meaningless faces to the crowd. Artyom, failing to ever open his mouth, also becomes little more than a camera with a gun glued to it. Personality and complexity? Yeah, dream on. Of course, there's that really random, out-of-place sex scene that humanizes him and interrupts.
Alive. Touch me.
Stop. My penis can only get so erect.
Anyway, that scene really humanizes him and makes you feel for him. Nah, just kidding. It's about as dead and awkward as you'd expect. In the midst of the confusion and disappointment, there's a thread that opens up in the second half, one that both surprises and injects a refreshing sense of importance to the plot. Details are sparse for your benefit, but it was a direction I wish the game focused on, rather than sporadically trying to touch on many of the different politics. It would be like if The Last of Us was taking place within World War III, wholeheartedly abandoning Ellie and Joel's personal story. Alas, even this plot device is forsaken in efforts to keep the many rotating plates spinning within the distraught Metro. It's a major letdown, especially since this singular thread almost salvaged a game that was less than pleasant at almost every turn. That's a polite way of saying I hated playing nearly every minute of Metro Last Light. Last Light is, first and foremost, a first-person shooter. There's a gun, you see through Artyom's eyes, you sometimes put that gun in your eyesights and aim said firearm at the monsters. Functional, yes, but it isn't very exciting. You aim, shoot, and attempt to decipher exactly which each hit marker means. It just isn't any fun and doesn't offer much in the way of being strategic, nor does it feel very open. After all, it is taking place within a constricted Metro. Weapons have a nice feel to them and their cobbled together aesthetic is a noteworthy detail, but there isn't much past that. Beasts aren't as easily desecrated as the humans, but their multitudes more frustrating. Artyom moves really slowly, so slowly that I constantly had to check if I was still crouching. Achieving snail speed does little to help evade attacks from clawed beasts, and makes it a crapshoot whether you'll survive against anything that doesn't have a gun. Backpedaling while shooting and hoping not to get hit becomes the only strategy, and an infuriating one at that. Monstrosities such as these change the pace up, but they are such a pain in the ass that it makes their inclusion puzzling. In addition to that, abysmal boss fights that don't reliably relay damage markers, and the sudden drop in ammo can make these bad situations even more unbearable, especially the boss fight near the end of the game, which is one of the worst boss fights I've ever seen. Sneaking is usually an option too. While no solid snake, Artyom can utilize shadows to move from point to point without getting detected, but that's about where it stops being a functional system. Each guard suffers from extreme cataracts and nearsightedness, failing to notice Artyom even a foot away if he is in the dark. Being concealed is accurately and constantly relayed to the player intelligently through Artyom's watch that dims to display concealment. Although that is a solid design choice, it requires too much suspension of disbelief that guard can't see him, even if he is right freaking there. I get why it's a binary system, it doesn't make sneaking any fun, and drops the ball on making this a viable gameplay path. Quality stealth titles almost all have one thing in common: choice. Be it multiple paths, gear loadouts, or a combination of both, finding your way to play has always made games like Deus Ex Human Revolution, Dishonored, and Metal Gear Solid such compelling sneaking games. Last Light oddly adheres to cripplingly narrow level design, one that amputates any sense of freedom and subsequently any fun that comes from feeling like a ninja. One tight path stands between you and your sometimes confusing goal, and the constrictive weapon design damns non-lethal players. The scavenging aspects that are instructed through the atmosphere and partially reinforced through the gameplay only hint at what could have been here in Metro Last Light. Playing Last Light was a drag, but at least looking at it wasn't. Even on petty consoles, the twisted, bombed-out environments are stunning in their natural, destructive beauty. This beauty is nearly fully realized when the impressive lighting and attention to detail are factored in. Darkness engulfs the Metro in every hour of the day, literally and in tone, so these visuals enhance the mood Last Light strives for. Animation may be crude when compared to the best, and the soundtrack may not have any catchy highlights, but Last Light is visually impressive enough to carry the technical side of it. Metro Last Light is a hodgepodge of poorly executed good ideas. Guns, monsters, stealth, Russians, and boobs are all positive aspects of life that are misconstrued and sloppily spat out in Metro Last Light. Glimmers of hope were in the background, but ended up being completely squashed out as the bad decisions kept rolling by at every stop along the Metro's route. Speaking of which, get off at the next stop. This one isn't worth the extra fare. Metro Last Light gets a 4 out of 10. Like always, the text review is on the site. And obviously, you could say that I'm not a big fan of this game. Get it? Because I hate myself too. Anyway, spasibo and do videsina. That's Russian.
This is a strange place. You can pick it up. I think it's for you.
Nico, it's Roman. I was talking to Brucey. We should hang out more. Call me if you ever want to do anything fun, like getting drunk or shooting pool. Later on.